Have you ever experienced a situation where the person opposite you says things that explode inside you? I am sure that among you there are people who feel like their fists itch in such a situation, but fighting is definitely not the solution. So, what is the solution? Holding back emotions, controlling oneself. Most people sometimes say this, but it doesn't always work, because sooner or later it will just explode. There will be burnout, breakdown, depression, and then you'll have to see a psychologist. Why do we need all this? In this video, we will not be discussing psychological techniques, although I can share some here as well. For example, I managed to reduce a manager's fever. Yes, I brought it down through psychosomatic practices right during an online meeting. That happened too. I was also stabilizing my condition during 2022 and 2023. In 2023, you know what happened. First, it is important to understand that the negative expression of emotions can lead to conflict, which may result in not communicating for several days or losing a business contract. Let me tell you about my case where one phrase, where my emotions got the better of me, cost me a good contract, a good case, and my reputation. And I didn't swear or criticize anyone. Once I was making exemplary calls for one of the well-known educational companies in Ukraine, and beforehand, the head of the sales department and I agreed that the calls would be great if a good educational system was demonstrated. But if all the managers say, wow, if they say it's cool, if they really like it, then it won't be a problem to pay a few $1,000s for such training. The demo turned out better than I could have imagined. Not only did I answer the toughest questions from the sharpest salespeople, not only did I handle all objections and skepticism, but I also closed the deal with a really difficult rejecter. He paid in real time. I made 2 calls, one for 23 minutes and the other for 8 minutes. With this client, everyone applauded silently. Because there was a strict manager, specifically the head of the sales department. Her name was Victoria. The masterclass was definitely cool, and it's not just my opinion. I received thanks from managers Victoria Nadislava, a sticker, biceps, telegram, and it definitely means something. But what happened next? 2 days later, she calls me, and she starts persistently bargaining, reducing the price by half. Imagine my face. But we had an agreement. Feeling the injustice, I began to appeal, out of frustration, that we had agreed on something different. And then she unexpectedly hangs up because she didn't hear my agreement that I was willing to work for a lower price. Later, it turned out that this company chose another trainer, and the salespeople wrote to me and argued to the manager why they should buy from Serhii Verus. I lost the negotiations, even though I did everything right. Several managers achieved their goals. They bought personally, started learning, and there were cases, but most of the salespeople were not learning from me. What mistake did I make in the negotiations? Yes, instead of arguing that the agreement was for a larger amount, it was necessary to find out why they wanted to pay less. Perhaps there is new incoming data. Something changed, but emotions prevailed, and I lost the negotiations. I also didn't try to find a win-win solution. That is, a win-win. I thought I was right. And that's how it was. From an outside perspective, it can still be understood that I was right, but I never received the money from the company, only from the managers. I think you all understand. The one who has the money is right. Do you understand what win-win means? It's when you not only think about being right, but also consider that something might have happened to the other person. But still, your competitor did something that became more interesting to your clients. Perhaps they decided to go to your competitor. Here's how you can ensure peace for yourself. Understand the reasons behind what is happening, rather than proving your point. The same applies to personal life. For example, when your wife says she is planning a trip, it might be necessary to take care of how she will get there. If you don't plan ahead, and it turns out you don't have time to take her to the train, it could lead to a conflict. If you can't imagine how to create a win-win situation even in your most challenging circumstances, write to me in private or in the comments and I will respond. If you don't have a gun to your head, if you have an eco-friendly business, I can find a solution for you 99% of the time. The same situation can happen at work when a manager does not control their emotions and yells at or pressures subordinates. Or he manages his emotions but suppresses them. The manager is affected. It turns out that he is not in control, but his emotions are, yes, maybe it's his way of communicating, but it can also lead to the employee deciding to quit later. He might stay at the job, but he will perform tasks with a hidden resistance, meaning he will play the role and promise to complete the tasks, but in reality, they won't be done properly. So, I emphasize once again, it is important to take responsibility for your emotions. That is, to be aware of the possible consequences of your actions. If you do not understand this, there is a risk that you may choose the path of conflict, loud conversations, or blaming others. So, a responsible person is someone who prepares for a situation and knows how to react to possible scenarios when they arise. In other words, in advance. Do you know that you can break the law, but the responsibility has not yet started? Consult a lawyer or attorney. In advance, or do not break the law, understand, or imagine sometimes money is invested in marketing, in the sales department, and there are worries that something will go wrong, that it won't pay off. Consult other experts, order an audit. Some companies do it for free or it doesn't cost much. This will help reduce risks and give you more peace of mind. You will have a better understanding of what you can expect. That is, I am in favor of listing possible situations for myself and working through each one in advance. This will ensure your peace and confidence. Sometimes, your friends, coaches, or taking the initiative can help with this. More than 19 years in sales have made me a professional conflictologist. And therefore, if you have negotiation problems with your client or with your manager, we can solve them together. For this, you can write to me on Instagram or Telegram with the word test, and I will personally get in touch with you